I'd like to begin with a few phrases that will probably sound familiar to the parents out there. Teach your kids to listen the first time. You can potty train your toddler in a weekend. If your kids don't listen the first time, it's because you don't mean it enough. And reward the good behavior, but ignore or punish the bad. These phrases are common. They're shared on Instagram, passed along in parenting groups, advised by family members, and even repeated in medical communities. They're packaged as common sense, but there's something they don't tell you. These parenting rules are based in power, the power you're expected to wield as a parent. I know this not just as a child advocate and an educator, but as a mom of 3. A parent who tried to follow all the modern parenting advice. I read the books. I consulted Google. I tried to do everything right. First, with potty training. I remember the words in the book so clearly. It said, you don't try to potty train a toddler. You either do it or you don't. Okay. Challenge accepted, I suppose. Then came the years of discipline. It sounded like me counting to 3, yelling from the other room, time out, last warning. Either you do it or I'll do it for you. It looked like me scooping up a screaming, flailing toddler as we left the playground, probably declaring, because you didn't listen the first time, we are no longer getting ice cream. And it all felt like garbage. I thought that I was being clear, firm, in control. But the more I pushed for compliance, the more disconnected I became from my kids. I wasn't raising confident, cooperative children. I was raising children who often felt unseen. And if I'm being honest, I was starting to feel pretty unseen too. Is this who I am now? Is this who my children need me to be? And then one day, something happened. I was at the park with my son, who was 4 at the time. He was playing on the playground, and I'm watching from nearby. And I noticed another mother there, her son, around the same age as mine. I was gearing up for a power struggle. It was almost time to leave, and I had given the usual countdown warnings, 5 minutes, 3 minutes, 1 minute. It was supposed to prevent the tantrum, but it never really worked for me. But then she went first. She said, okay, buddy, it's time to go. And he shouted, no, I'm still playing. I waited for the power move, her threat, the consequence. But none came. Instead, she stood up, walked over to her son, and crouched beside him. And they talked. And then they played. They ran. They laughed. They connected. And when it was time to go again, she extended her hand. And he took it. Just like that. No threats, no bribes, no yelling. I was stunned. How did she do that? How could I do that? More importantly, who would I need to become in order to do that? What I later learned from neuroscience explained everything I saw in the park that day. Kids don't learn or regulate when they're afraid. Their brains don't have access to reasoning, reflection, or long-term learning under that kind of stress. But safety, relational safety, is what allows long-term learning to occur. See, when we parent from a place of power, we might get short-term obedience, but it comes at a long-term cost. The British birth cohorts is the longest running study on human development. Having started in 1946 and running to present day, this 70-year longitudinal study aims to look at the key influences on human health and well-being. And a key finding, parenting really matters. The next question almost asks itself, if parenting matters, what kind of parenting do we strive for? And again, if we look at the research, we learn that children grow and thrive when they're in safe, connected relationships. This kind of relationship is called a secure attachment, and decades of research has shown that when a child is securely attached to at least one caregiver, they thrive in nearly all aspects of life. They have greater self-esteem, stronger leadership qualities, higher academic success, and more empathy for others. Psychologist and expert in interpersonal neurobiology, Dr. Dan Siegel, says that in order to create this type of attachment, a child must feel safe in their relationship with their parent. And this matters now more than ever because parenting is generational. The types of relationships that we build with our kids will become the blueprint for the relationships they have later on in life. If we don't shift from power to connection, we're asking our kids to make that shift themselves, and that's a heavy burden to hand down. But you can break the cycle. You can be the one who redefines parenting in your home and for your entire lineage. What does this look like? Let me offer 3 simple shifts. First, treat your child as a full human being. Yes, you may be older, wiser, more experienced, more responsible, but soul to soul, you and your child are equals. They deserve the same dignity and respect that you would give to an adult friend or family member. Have you ever been in public and saw a child maybe melting down or not cooperating, and the parent says, "Okay, fine, then I'm leaving," and they turn and walk away? Maybe this was your parent. Maybe at one point this was you. But kids don't need to be left, they need to be led. And that's exactly what I saw in the park that day. 2, reflect with a guess. I never did hear what that mother said to her son, but I now imagine it to be something like, "Hey, it looks like you were gonna go down the slide again. Maybe this time I come with you. Do you wanna make it a race?" She doesn't correct him, she reflects him. And research shows that when children feel seen, they're able to connect too. I also imagine that when she extended her hand, she said, "Let's go get that ice cream." Not using it as a bribe or threatening to take it away, but stating it as a matter of fact because that was the plan all along. And finally, play, always. Play is the language of childhood, certainly for kids 8 and younger, but really play can be a language for all of us. It's how kids learn, it's how they release stress, and it's how they make sense of the world around them. Play is also how they feel safe enough to learn to begin with. And play doesn't have to equal chaos, it means connection. So the next time your child isn't putting on their shoes, make it a race. Pretend the shoes are rocket boosters and you're boosting them out the door. They don't want to get in the car, play ninja. Hey, how would a ninja get into this car? Play is not the reward for good behavior, but rather the thing that creates it. That day in the park wasn't just about cooperation, it was about relationships. The relationship we have with our children and also the relationship we have with ourselves. I didn't just meet another mom, I met myself. The parent I wanted to be, the one my kids were already waiting for. The type of parent who leads with safety and connection instead of power and control. The kind of parent that builds a relationship with her kids that helps me survive the tantrum, yes, but that will also echo through time with each generation of my family. Because the child who feels safe with you becomes the adult that feels safe in their own skin. So let's stop chasing compliance. Stop parenting for speed or silence or surrender. Let's lead our kids off the playground and to an inner safety that they can access for a lifetime. Thank you.